When I was first setting up home, we hadn't 2 pennies to rub together, so we learned to be canny with every last one. Waste simply wasn't allowed in our house. My own Nan would have had a fit. And you know, most of those old habits still save me a small fortune to this day. So put the kettle on, get yourself comfortable, and let me share 30 genius little habits I still use. Habits that keep money in my purse and would do the same for yours. Number 1. Save every jar and tub that comes into the house. Not a single jar leaves my kitchen for the bin without a second thought. A jam jar, a coffee tin, an old margarine tub, they all get washed out and kept. I store leftovers in them, sort my buttons and screws into them, take soup to a poorly neighbour in them, and use the pretty ones for jam when the fruit's in season. Why on earth would you pay good money for storage boxes when the shop practically gives you a cupboard full for free? A shelf of clean jars is worth more than you'd think, and it saved me buying no end of bits over the years. Number 2. A drawer for string, elastic bands, and odds and ends. Every proper home has one, the drawer. Ours holds string, elastic bands, spare buttons, twist ties, a ball of garden twine, and every rubber band the postman ever dropped on the path. It looks a jumble, I'll grant you, but I've never once had to nip to the shop for string or a bit of ribbon to tie up a parcel. When you need these little things, you need them then and there. And buying a whole packet for one job is money down the drain. Save them as they come to you, and you'll always have exactly what you want, when you want it. Number 3, turn everything off at the wall. Now this one my grandchildren tease me about, but I'll not be moved on it. When something's not in use, off it goes at the wall. The telly, the toaster, the phone chargers, the lot. All those little lights glowing away in the dark are quietly sipping electricity and adding to your bill, and you're paying for nothing at all. It takes a second to flick a switch, and over a year it adds up to a proper saving. I do my rounds every night before bed, same as I check the doors locked. A tidy habit and a thrifty one. Number 4. Only boil the water you're going to use. A kettle full of water for 1 cup of tea is a waste of electric, plain and simple. You're paying to heat a great pot full when all you wanted was a mug full. So fill the kettle from your cup, pour in just what you need and no more. It boils quicker too, so you're not stood there waiting. If everyone in the land did just that, the saving would be enormous. But never mind everyone else. You'll notice it on your own bill soon enough. Little economies done every single day are the ones that truly count. Number 5. A hot water bottle before the heating. Before I so much as look at the thermostat, out comes the hot water bottle. Tucked on your lap under a blanket or popped in the bed 20 minutes before you climb in, it keeps you cozy for pennies. Heating a whole house to warm one person sat in one chair never made a lick of sense to me. A hot water bottle, a good pair of bed socks, and a nice cardigan will see you through many a chilly evening without touching the boiler. Warm the person, not the house. That's been my motto for 60 years, and my bills have thanked me for it. Number 6. Wear a jumper and drop the thermostat. Along the same lines, when there's a nip in the air, the first thing to reach for is a jumper, not the heating dial. My mother always said, if you're cold, put another layer on before you cost yourself money. Turning your thermostat down by just a degree or 2, you'll barely feel the difference, saves a surprising amount over a winter. A woolly jumper costs nothing to run. So layer up, pop a blanket over your knees of an evening, and let the heating have a rest. Your purse will feel the benefit far more than you'll feel the chill. Number 7, mend it before you bin it. We were a make do and mend generation, and thank goodness for it. A missing button, a small tear, a hem come undone, none of that means a garment's finished. A needle and thread and 10 quiet minutes will put it right. And that's a good shirt or frock saved from the bin and a new one saved from your purse. I keep a little sewing tin always to hand. Most folk these days would throw the whole thing out and buy again. But a mend is quick, it's satisfying, and it keeps perfectly good clothes in your wardrobe for years longer. Nothing's beyond saving with a bit of patience. Number 8, darn your socks and tights. A hole in a sock is not the end of a sock. It's simply a sock waiting to be darned. My nan taught me on a wooden mushroom, and I still do it now of an evening in front of the telly. A ladder in your tights, a dab of clear nail varnish stops it running, so you get another wear or two. It seems a small thing, but socks and tights add up over a year if you're forever replacing them. Darn the good ones and keep the ones past saving for cleaning rags. There's a use for everything if you look for it. Number 9, turn old clothes into cleaning cloths. Speaking of which, when a shirt or a towel is truly past wearing, it doesn't go in the bin. It gets cut up into cleaning cloths and dusters. An old cotton vest makes a grand polishing cloth. A worn towel is perfect for the muddy dog or a spill on the floor. I've not bought a packet of dusters or kitchen cloths in more years than I can count. Why pay for cloths when your wardrobe provides them free as they wear out? Keep a bag of them under the sink and you'll always have a rag for the messy jobs. Waste not, want not. Number 10, save wrapping paper and gift bags. Come Christmas and birthdays, I'm the one carefully peeling the sticky tape off so the paper comes away whole. Folded neatly and kept in a drawer, good wrapping paper does 2 or 3 Christmases before it's done. Gift bags, ribbon and bows the same. Smoothed out and saved for next time. Wrapping paper is dear for what it is, and it only gets torn up and binned in minutes, which always seemed a terrible waste to me. Take your time opening your presents. Save the nice paper, and you'll rarely need to buy a roll. The children think I'm funny for it, but they'll learn. Number 11, reuse your foil and freezer bags. A sheet of foil that's only wrapped a sandwich or covered a bowl isn't dirty. Give it a wipe, fold it up, and use it again. Same with a freezer bag that's held nothing but a clean loaf. Turn it inside out, let it dry, and it's good as new. Only the truly greasy or messy bits get thrown. These things cost money, and using each sheet once before binning it is like throwing pennies in the bin. Get 2 or 3 uses out of everything, and a roll of foil lasts you an age. It's the sort of small saving that quietly adds up. Number 12, use every last scrap of the soap. When a bar of soap wears down to that thin little sliver, don't throw it away. Press it onto the top of a fresh bar and it'll stick and get used up. Or pop all your slivers into a little net bag or a flannel and use that. The same goes for the bottom of the washing up liquid. A drop of water in the bottle, give it a shake, and there's another wash or 2 in it. Getting the very last bit out of everything you've paid for is what thrift is all about. Those last slivers and dregs are money you've already spent, so don't waste them. Number 13. Cut open the tube to get the last of it. Whether it's toothpaste, hand cream, or a tube of tomato puree, there's always a good bit left when you think it's empty. Snip the end of the tube open with the scissors and you'll be amazed how many more days you'll get out of it. There's often a week of toothpaste hiding in a tube you'd have thrown away. It's the same principle as everything else. You paid for all of it, so use all of it. My grandchildren laughed the first time they saw me do it. Then they went quiet when they saw how much was left inside. Number 14. White vinegar cleans nearly everything. I don't hold a cupboard full of fancy sprays, each one for a different job and each one costing a small fortune. A big bottle of plain white vinegar does the lot. Watered down, it cleans windows and mirrors to a streak-free shine, cuts through limescale on your taps and kettle, freshens the drains, and much more besides. It costs a fraction of those branded bottles, and it works every bit as well. Add a squeeze of lemon or a sprinkle of bicarb for the tougher jobs. 1 cheap bottle instead of 10 dear ones. That's a saving you'll notice every time you do the shopping. Number 15. Bicarbonate of soda for the tough jobs. Bicarb is the other half of my cleaning cupboard and it costs next to nothing. Sprinkled on a burnt pan with a drop of water, it lifts the mess so it scrubs off with ease. It scours the sink, freshens the carpet before you hoover, takes the smell out of the fridge and deodorizes your bin. Between a tub of bicarb and a bottle of vinegar, there's hardly a cleaning job in the house I can't tackle. 2 cheap store cupboard staples doing the work of a shelf full of expensive products. Now that's the sort of housekeeping my Nan would have been proud of. Number 16. Grow herbs on the windowsill. A little pot of parsley, mint or basil on the kitchen windowsill will save you a small fortune over a year. Those bags of fresh herbs from the shop are dear. Half of them go slimy before you use them, and you're forever buying more. A living plant costs £1 or £2, sits happily on the sill, and gives you a fresh snip whenever a recipe calls for it. Pop the stalks of a shop bunch in water, and half of them will even root for you, free of charge. Fresh herbs whenever you want them, and no more limp bags going off in the bottom of the fridge. Number 17. Line dry your washing whenever you can. That tumble dryer is one of the greediest things in the house for electricity. On a fine day, or even a breezy grey one, the washing goes out on the line where the wind and sun dry it for nothing at all. In the depths of winter, I use a clothes horse by the radiator or an airer on the landing. The dryer only comes on when there's truly no other way. Line-dried sheets smell far sweeter too, and your clothes last longer for not being battered about in all that heat. Free drying versus a costly cycle. The choice makes itself, doesn't it? Number 18. Shop the reduced shelf and shop late. The reduced shelf is where the real bargains hide, and I make a beeline for it. Late in the day, the shops mark down all the bread, meat and veg that's near its date. Food that's perfectly good but needs eating soon. I've filled my freezer with lovely joints of meat for half the price by shopping at the right time. Learn when your local shop does its markdowns and plan your visit around it. It takes a little cheek at first, reaching past the full price shelf, but the savings are grand, and there's no shame whatsoever in being sensible with your money. Number 19. Batch cook and fill the freezer. When I make a stew, a soup, or a pie, I never make just enough for one meal. I make a great potful and freeze it in portions. It costs barely any more to cook double, and it saves the electric of cooking from scratch every night. On a day I'm tired or busy, there's a proper home-cooked meal waiting in the freezer, which means I'm never tempted by an expensive ready meal or a takeaway. Cooking once and eating 3 or 4 times is one of the cleverest economies there is. A full freezer is money in the bank and peace of mind besides. Number 20. Turn leftovers into another meal. Nothing edible gets thrown out in this house. The Sunday roast becomes Monday's cottage pie or a plate of cold cuts with pickle. Vegetables left in the dish go into a soup or a bubble and squeak. A little of this and a little of that becomes a fine meal if you use your imagination. Throwing away food is throwing away money you've already spent, plain and simple. And it always breaks my heart to see it. Some of my family's favourite dinners were born out of using up the odds and ends. Learn to love your leftovers and your shopping bill shrinks all on its own. Number 21. Keep a stock pot going from your scraps. Those vegetable peelings, the ends of onions, the carrot tops, and every chicken carcass or ham bone. They're not rubbish, they're the makings of a lovely stock. I keep a bag in the freezer and pop the trimmings in as I go, and when it's full, it all goes in a big pot of water and simmers away into a golden stock that's better than anything from a cube. Homemade stock costs you nothing but a bit of gas and the scraps you'd have binned anyway. It's the very heart of good, thrifty cooking, and it makes your soups and gravies sing. Nothing wasted, everything used. Number 22. Save your bacon fat and dripping. Just as my own Nan taught me, the fat from the bacon and the joint never goes down the sink. It's poured into a little pot and kept in the fridge, where it sets lovely and firm. A spoonful makes the finest roast potatoes and chips you'll ever taste, adds a rich flavour to fried onions, or goes on to toast with a sprinkle of salt for a proper old-fashioned treat. You've already paid for that fat, so why pour it away and then buy oil to cook with? A pot of good dripping is a free ingredient that lifts a dozen dishes. My family swear my roasties are the best, and that's the secret. Number 23. Make a little meat go a long way. You don't need a great slab of meat on the plate to eat well. A small amount, bulked out with plenty of vegetables, beans, lentils, or a bit of barley, feeds far more mouths for far less money. A stew stretched with root veg, a mince stretched with lentils, a chicken that gives you a roast, then sandwiches, then a soup from the bones. That's 3 meals from one bird. Meat is the dearest thing in the trolley, so use it as a flavour rather than the whole meal, and your money goes ever so much further. We ate well on very little by being clever like this. Number 24. Plan your meals and write a list. I never set foot in a shop without a list, and I never write a list without first planning the week's meals. It stops you standing bewildered in the aisles, buying things you don't need, and it means you buy exactly what the meals require, and nothing that'll rot forgotten in the fridge. Impulse buys are where the money leaks away. A bit of this that catches your eye, a treat you didn't come for. A list keeps you honest and keeps you quick. Plan it out, write it down, and stick to it. You'll spend less and waste less, week in and week out. Number 25. Check the price per weight, not the ticket. The big number on the shelf isn't the one that matters. It's the little price per 100 grams or per litre you want to be reading. The shops are clever at making a thing look cheaper than it is, and often the bigger box or the own brand tin works out far better value once you do the sums. I got my grandchildren to show me on their phones once, and they were amazed at how the bargain often wasn't. Take a moment to compare properly, and you'll fill your trolley for less without buying a single thing different. A canny shopper reads the small print. Number 26. Buy dried and cook from scratch. A bag of dried lentils, beans or pulses costs a fraction of the tins and lasts an age in the cupboard. A sack of potatoes, a bag of flour, a box of porridge oats. These are the cheap and filling foundations of good home cooking. Convenience always costs you dear. Someone has to be paid for that tin, that packet, that ready-made sauce. Cook from scratch with simple raw ingredients and you eat better for a great deal less. It takes a little more time, I'll admit, but the savings are real and there's a satisfaction in it that a ready meal never gave anyone. Number 27. A flask keeps a brew hot all day. Rather than boiling the kettle a dozen times a day, I make a big pot in the morning and fill a good flask. It keeps my tea piping hot right through till afternoon, and I've only paid to boil the kettle the once. Out in the garden or off on a day trip, a flask and a packet of homemade sandwiches saves you the small fortune those cafes charge for a cup of tea and a bite to eat. It's the way we always did things, and it's every bit as sensible now. Why pay £2 or £3 for what you can carry with you for pennies? Number 28. Keep a button and odds tin. You know the tin, the old biscuit or sweet tin that holds every spare button, hook and safety pin the household has ever gathered. When a button pops off your coat, you don't march out and buy a new coat, nor even a whole card of buttons. You find a match in the tin and sew it on in a jiffy. Spare buttons come free on new clothes anyway, tucked in a little bag. Save them all. Between the button tin and the string drawer, this house can fix nearly anything without spending a penny. Little tins of odds and ends are the quiet heroes of a thrifty home. Number 29. Dry your hair and skip small luxuries. Little daily costs are the ones that sneak up on you. A stretched out wash for your hair, a home manicure of an evening, a cup of tea from your own pot instead of a bought one on the high street. None of these feel like much, but done every day, they add up to a startling sum over a year. I've always done my own hair, my own nails, and made my treats at home, and I've wanted for nothing. Work out what you spend on the little bought comforts, then do them yourself instead. You'll be astonished what those small daily savings become by Christmas. Number 30. Save something every single week, no matter how small. And this is the one that ties all the others together, the habit my nan drummed into me above all else. However tight things are, put a little something by every week, even just the loose change from your purse into a jar on the shelf. It's not the amount that matters, it's the habit of it. All those small savings from all these little tricks, the boiled kettle, the mended sock, the saved dripping, they're only worth anything if you hold on to them rather than letting them slip away on something else. Pay yourself first, however little, and you'll always have a bit tucked away for a rainy day. That, more than anything, is how we got by and got ahead. And there you have it, 30 little habits I've carried with me all my life, every one of them keeping a bit more money in my purse. Some you'll have known from your own Nan, and some may be new to you. But try even a handful of them, and you'll be surprised how quickly the pennies mount up into pounds. Thank you for sitting with me a while. Do tell me in the comments which of these your own Nan used to swear by. Now, I think it's time I put the kettle on. Just the 1 cup's worth, mind. Take care and mind the pennies.